Hey guys, it's Zach. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and I figured it would be like the perfect time for me to make a video that I've wanted to make for a very long time but haven't ever felt like it was the right time. But I feel like it's the right time, so I'm going to do it. What you're about to hear is my mental health story and the disorders that I deal with on a daily basis and have dealt with for as long as I can remember. And I hope that if there are any people out there watching this who are dealing with similar things or completely different disorders, that it helps and kind of shows that like you're not alone. That's the whole goal. But yeah, so let's get into it. Also, I have like it all written down because I didn't want to have to like stop and think during it, and I felt like I could like get everything out of the way before I dive into it. So that's, if you see me like look at my phone, that's why. Today, if you know me through social media or in person or anything like that, you know that I preach three things. That is positivity, happiness, and just like the overall pursuit of the arts. Those are like my three core like things I believe in. You probably know that I like wholeheartedly love life and love being alive and love everything that the world brings, but I was not always like that. I actually was the complete opposite for a very long part of my life, and it kind of sucked a lot, and I don't really talk about it, but I feel like this is the perfect time to talk about it. So let's kind of start from the beginning. From 4th grade to about sophomore year of high school, I dealt with a lot of bullying. It was definitely very hard for me, and I didn't really talk about it with anyone. I never like went to teachers or my parents or anything like that about it. I just kind of dealt with it. I felt like it was my own thing and that I just had to deal with it myself. Most of the bullying stemmed from 3 different things, which would be my weight, my voice, and my like ignorance of gender roles. My weight is still something that I deal with a lot, but I've definitely gotten a lot better. I'm a lot more positive with my body because I'm skinny AF, and I just kind of embrace it. My voice, it was because it was higher pitched, which, I mean, you all are probably used to it if you watch my videos, and like feminine is what they would say, and they would, yeah, that kind of stuff. I always hung out with girls, and I was into clothes and stuff like that. You know, stupid things that get gender rolled as not things that guys are supposed to like. So I just kind of overall ignored it and pretended like it didn't get to me, even though it did, and it totally did take a toll on my mind, which I realized a lot later in life, but I kind of just pushed through it and tried to ignore it. But it definitely had a very big toll on my mind that I didn't realize until later when I sought help for those things. In this time of my life, I had no confidence. I hated the world, I hated people, I hated being around people. Very few things brought me happiness, and I constantly would be like, oh my god, I hate people, I hate everyone, and it was not a good time. And the biggest downer was like my passion for anything was non-existent. Like I didn't have any drive to do anything that I enjoyed. I just kind of was in a rut. I hated myself, truthfully. I didn't like anything about myself, and I would look in the mirror and be like, why are you like this? Why do you do these things? Why do you talk like that? Why do you dress like that? Why can't you just be like everyone else? Why do you make things so hard for yourself? You're such an idiot. Like, I would constantly beat myself down, and it was a really hard thing to deal with. I was sad all the time for like no reason. I was scared of people. I was scared to go to school. I was scared to talk on the phone. I was scared to go places where people would be, like church on Wednesdays. I was so terrified that I would get crippling stomach cramps that I would like feel sick to my stomach, like I was going to throw up constantly. And it would keep me in most days. I was afraid to talk on the phone, I was afraid to order at restaurants, I was afraid to even raise my hand to go to the bathroom in class because I didn't want to draw any attention that I like could avoid. I spent most of my junior year of high school, which was like the main year that I was the most absent, because I actually like had to go to like truancy meetings and stuff like that, but I spent most of it homesick because of my stomach and my anxiety. And I just thought it was my stomach, like I just thought something was wrong, but I kept going to doctors and they would tell me like, no, nothing's wrong, like we don't know why you feel this way. These fears and conditions that I dealt with, I now have a name to them, and that was a pretty big step because like I was finally able to be like, this is why I feel this way. And the exact diagnoses that I have are depression, general anxiety disorder, and social anxiety disorder. Those are the 3 that I deal with. This video is a lot of 3s. These disorders completely ruled my life. Like, I was unable to do anything without them somehow inhibiting me in some way. Like, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know how to fix it, and that was really hard because I'm very much the person who, like, if something is wrong, I want to be able to fix it. So, since I didn't know how to fix it, the only thing I knew to do was ignore it, and that didn't help either. Now, the few friends I did have during this time will probably remember this more than anyone else, but, during this time when I was ignoring my problems and my illnesses, I was constantly telling myself that I was okay, and so I would always preach and tell people when they would like come to me asking me what's wrong, I would say, nothing's wrong, I'm always okay, it's my thing. Like, my thing is to be okay. And I was more concerned with them telling me what was wrong with them so that I could kind of ignore my problems and actually fix problems that are existing. Now, that's where I was at like the worst time in my life. So let's talk about how I got to where I am today, because obviously it's a lot different. Now, I've kind of split all of these into like categories, if you will. So just hang in there and kind of follow along. These are like all the different like subgroups that really like get me to where I am today. The first one being friends. Now, like I said, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I did over time make certain friends that had like very big influences on my life. I don't even think that these friends really know the impact that they had on my life, but it's freaking huge. Like, by simply being in my life and sharing their like experiences and their thoughts and their ideas, it like had a huge impact on me. I had one friend in particular that I can remember who taught me not to care what people think and not to care how I dress and how I was like, she made me feel cool. And I had friends who taught me like simple things that come easily seemingly to others, like how to have fun in large groups and stuff like that. And then I had another friend who really, like I said, I used to tell everyone that I was okay and it was my thing. And she really got on to me one time about that and was like, dude, it's okay to not be okay, like it's fine. And that really like hit home with me and had a huge impact on me, and I realized like it's okay to not be okay all the time. And that was really important. I think she knows, but I'm not sure. Teachers. Now, I had certain teachers in high school who really, I don't know if they saw where I was or saw like just potential in me or something, but they totally like pushed me and like treated me as a friend, and like they didn't like belittle me or anything like that. They pushed me and they knew that I could do things and made me do things that I didn't know that I could do. They put me in positions that at the time could have made me uncomfortable but didn't, and like made me feel sure of myself in them. The internet. Now, I joke all the time that like the internet raised me and stuff like that, which I mean there is some truth to that, because a lot of like my ideals and just things of that sort totally come from like things that I've researched on the internet, or like reading people's opinions or articles or things like that. And so there is some truth to that, but the internet has had a huge impact on me, giving me this platform, which has totally like given me an unreal amount of like self-assurance and confidence. And then it's also introduced me to so many friends who hold me accountable and push me to be like the best me that I can be, and I've never had that, and it blows my mind. And I know that they like sometimes think that I don't care about them maybe, or something along that line, because I'm really bad at showing how I feel towards friends, and I'm really have a hard time like being completely like, I have a hard time maintaining friendships for extended periods of time, and it makes me really nervous that they think that I don't care, but I do a lot, and they have already helped me in so many ways that I will never ever be able to thank them enough. And I'm very thankful for the internet for introducing me to people like that. The next one is medical help. This doesn't always work for everyone, but it worked for me, and so I consider myself very lucky. But when I graduated high school, I went to my parents, which was really hard, and I told them what I've been dealing with and stuff like that, and I told them that I wanted to go see a doctor for it, and they didn't like judge me or anything like that like I thought they would, because I really did. But I went and I got help, and I got put on medication, and the medication has easily changed my life and just kind of taken the edge off of things that used to make me very, very scared. And it helped in ways that I honestly like couldn't imagine where I would be if I didn't have that help. And medicine doesn't work for everyone, and it's totally not a thing, and I don't recommend just going on medicine by itself. I definitely recommend getting someone who you can talk to and go over your problems and just like work through things, because it's so important to be able to work through these things. And I know that you think you can work through them on your own, but that's not always the case. And I know I thought it was the case for me, but it totally wasn't. And there are so many things that you just need to be able to talk about, man. And so I highly recommend, if you are dealing with these things, to like find someone you can talk to in confidence. Like, I know you're probably thinking like, oh, they'll tell my parents and stuff like that. Like, no, it's safe. You can do it. Now, that is not everything. That is just like a general idea of the disorders that I deal with and the stuff that I've been through. There were a lot more darker times, and there were a lot more brighter times that I didn't get like speak on. But that's like the general idea of what I went through and what I dealt with. I really appreciate you if you made it this far into the video, because that means you actually like took the time to like hear me out and hear what I had to say. I just want to again say that I understand how lucky I am that I was able to get help and be helped by like my first kind of shot at being helped. Not everybody has that same like luck, and I totally understand if you like, if it doesn't work for you. I totally understand, and that doesn't mean like you're unfixable. And I realize, believe me, I know that I'm going to deal with these disorders for the rest of my life, and I still have bad days where I just want to give up, and I just want to like stop trying, and I just want to sit, and I feel useless, and I feel like I'm faking it, and I feel like everybody knows that I'm not going to make it, and I feel like nobody even wants me around. And I completely understand that feeling, and I understand the feeling of not feeling wanted, even though you have people who are constantly telling you that you are wanted, and it's such a hard thing to deal with. And I know that I'm going to feel this way for the rest of my life, and that is really damning. And I hate that I know that I'm going to deal with it for the rest of my life, but I know that the good times are going to outweigh the bad overall, and I'm going to get through these dark paths, these dark subsections of my life. And I know that you can too. The world's a big place. There's a lot of stuff going on, and someone is going to find something that can help you, and you're going to find something that can help you. And seriously, if you're thinking about giving up, if you're thinking that you're at a dead end and there's no way out, it's a fucking cul-de-sac. Just turn around, go back, and try again, because you got this, dude. I'm telling you, it gets better, and there's so much good out there. The positivity I preach is not fake, I promise, and it's something I wholeheartedly believe in. And honestly, like, I hope that by me talking about this you feel less alone, or that you feel like you can make it, because you can, and it gets better. And I know that mental illness is like frowned upon and not talked about, and it's like taboo to have, even though fucking so many people deal with it. It's so stupid. You're not alone, dude. So comment below, let me know if I helped you, if you understood anything, if you have questions, or just anything that you want to talk about. Just comment it below. My DMs on Twitter are open. Just slide in my DMs. I'm more than willing to discuss anything with you. I love you guys, seriously, and I care about all of the people who watched this video, especially if you made it this far. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. I know most of my videos are a lot more positive and like upbeat and enjoyable than this. I'll be back at it next week. Bye.